शङ्कर रक्ष मां शारदे पाहि मां 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 शङ्कर पाहि मां शङ्कर रक्ष शारदे पाहि मां शङ्कर शारदे पाहि मां शङ्कर रक्ष मां 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 शारदे पाहि मां शङ्कर रक्ष शारदे पाहि मां शङ्कर रक्ष माम् शारदे पाहि मां शङ्कर रक्ष मां शारदे पाहि मां शङ्कर रक्ष मां शारदे पाहि मां शङ्कर रक्ष मां शारदे पाहि मां शङ्कर रक्ष माम्
I think it's all.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you for all of you for coming today on a Sunday evening. We'll start the program. Om Sharada Sharadam Bhoja Vadana Vadanambuje Sarvata Sarvata Asmakam Sannidhim Kriyad Shankar Rupena Machittam Panki Gatamapudgyaya Kinkari Yasya Shamaya Shankaracharyamashaye Om Bharati Karunapatram Bharati Padabhushanam Bharati Padamarudam Bharati Tirthamashraye Om Vidya Vinaya Sampannam Vitaragam Vivekinam Vande Vedanta Tattvajnam Vidushekhara Bharatim Sadguru Charanarvindabhyam Namaha. Welcome all for the Panchadasi program today. Mami, please take it away. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Seeking the blessings of Sri Sharada Devi and Mahasannidhanam and Sri Sannidhanam, Swami Chinmayananda and all our own Guru Parampara. We start today's class. Vidya Vidya Vivekena Param Samsara Varidhe Prapayatyanisham Bhaktan Tam Vidyaranyamashraye. So, it's nice that we have finished the first chapter and today we'll be starting the second chapter. So, first we start with the same first shloka that we used to do, Namaste Sri Shankarananda. You all know it by heart, so that's why I didn't ask them to show it. So we'll do Namaste Sri Shankarananda and start. Namaste Sri Shankarananda Guru Padambu Janmane Savilasa Mahamoha Graha Grasaika Karmane. Now, this Panchadasi, we had done the first chapter, finished it the month before, not last month, but the month before that. Having completed that, that was called as Tattva Viveka Prakarana. Prakarana is loosely, we translate it as chapter. See, what happens is, when we say chapter, then we think that the first chapter should be connected to the second chapter should be connected to the third chapter. But here it is not like that. All the 15, they stand by themselves. Yeah. So that was one topic. This is another topic. So that's why to call it as chapter is also not right. That's why we say prakarana, but we know what we mean by prakarana. Okay. So now this is the second chapter, which is called as Mahabhuta Viveka Prakarana. Mahabhuta, Pancha Mahabhuta Viveka Prakarana. If you study the titles of all the 15 chapters, the ending, the first 5 ending, it'll end with the word Viveka. So that's why we had Tattva Viveka before. Now Mahabhuta, Pancha Mahabhuta Viveka. So that Viveka is the common word. Therefore, it is called as Viveka Panchakam. The first 5 come under that Viveka Panchakam, there wherein all this analysis is being done. The Viveka is done. And then from 6th through 10th chapters, all the 5 will end with Deepa. Deepa. So, since they all end with the Deepa, that is called as Deepa Panchakam. Viveka Panchakam and then Deepa Panchakam. Then the last 5, they have the titles ending with the word Ananda. So that is called as Ananda Panchakam. So Viveka Panchakam and then Deepa Panchakam and Ananda Panchakam. So we have done in the first Viveka Panchakam. So in that, the first one was just, it's called Tattva Viveka. That's what we have done. Now we enter into the second Viveka, because we have so much of Viveka already. We are now adding it to with more Viveka. That is analyzing. We are going to analyze all the 5 elements, and Vidyaranyaji, he will reveal through that Tattva only, that Brahman only. So the first one, there were about 65 shlokas, but here the number of shlokas are 109 shlokas. This is a bigger chapter than the first one. So now, what we mean by prakarana, we already said, means it deals with one particular topic. So we said this one, it deals with the topic of Pancha Mahabhutas, the 5 great elements. So Tattva Viveka was distinguishing the truth, the Tattva, the reality, from the untruth. Truth from the untruth was as though taken out and shown to us by Vidyaranyaji. So the clear comprehension, how did we get of that? What was the main point of the this the first 5, or we can say the first one? We have to know from the first 2 shlokas were just introduction in that. In the first chapter, we just did prostrations to the teachers and how the introduction of that particular topic was slightly given, hinted at the second shloka. Then from 3rd shloka to the 10th shloka, through the states of waking, dream, deep sleep, I hope you all remember how one thing is common in all those. We went through the whole thing. So the nature of self is existence, consciousness, and bliss. This was what was established through that 3rd to 10th shloka of the first chapter. then we have to know, why do we have to know all this? Talavali, so why? I don't have to know. No, it says here, from the 11th through the 30th, all the causes of the samsara was talked about. So what all we go through in samsara, unless we are told, we don't even know. It seems all those worms and all, they all live in not such great place, dirty places. They just are comfortable in that atmosphere. So we don't even know that we are in that kind of place. Somebody has to tell us, "Arey, I'm to wake up. How long are you going to sleep and be enjoying all this?" So something like that. So from 11 to 30, the cause of samsara was given. Then 31 to 64, the whole thing was where it was dealing with the means of liberation, how to get liberated. This is what we had done. And the 65th verse, the last verse, was just only a conclusion. And we have to remember, in that first chapter, we cannot forget, how did we comprehend the tattva? What was the main process by which it was done? It was called as Anvaya Vyatireka. I hope you all remember those words. For the Sharira Traya differentiation. Where did 3 Shariras come from? To take care of one Sharira, I'm finding it so difficult. So we all said that it is Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, and the Karana Sharira. Yeah. So the gross body, the subtle body, and the causal body, right? Or the same thing was called as Pancha Kosha. The same Shariratraya was called as Pancha Kosha. And what are the Pancha? Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, and then Anandamaya Kosha. So how to differentiate this reality from these? That's what we did through Anvaya Vyatireka. All these terminologies, I'm just trying to remind you. So the tattva was differentiated from the 3 bodies or the five sheets. And then it gave us a clear picture of what the tattva, the reality was. So this is what we had done in the first chapter. Now, the 5 sheets or the 3 bodies are preliminarily made with the 5 elements. They are made with the 5 elements. So in the second chapter now, which is called as Panchabhuta Viveka, we are not going to study the 5 elements separately. That is not our main job, because we have gotten some kind of course, a little bit of introduction will be given, but that's not the subject. We are studying the 5 elements in order to understand the reality, which is completely distinct from the 5 elements. So, to differentiate the reality from the Panchamahabhutas, which is now all mixed up with our reality. So, like how we studied the Panchakoshas, not to know what the Panchakoshas were, but rather to understand what the tattva behind the Panchakoshas were. So something like that. So now that was not studied for the knowledge of the 3 bodies or the 5 koshas, but to have the knowledge of the tattva in the first chapter. So how did we reach that? We reached that tattva through negation of each of those koshas. I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not this. You all remember. So the self was reached by this negation. I'm not it, I'm not this, etc. So by the negation of what I am not, I reach the ultimate reality or the truth. Now, the same methods will be used for segregating or differentiating. Now the Panchamahabhutas, that is the 5 elements, will be now, that's what we'll be using now and then the same thing will be discussed now. So in order to know what the reality, which is totally distinct from the 5 elements. So that's why this chapter is called as Mahabhuta, Panchamahabhuta Viveka. So Viveka, to distinguish. You are distinguishing the 5 elements from the reality. So now this is the title of the second prakarana. So this is really very, very interesting for us. We invoke the Lord's grace and our Guru Parampara's grace so that we will understand it properly and we also can experience that ultimate reality. That is our main aim for doing this. So when we do that, we have to have the bhakti for the Lord, no? So we have such beautiful, that shloka and all that they put it on in the beginning. It is so beautiful. Our mind is then prepared. The mind has to be pliable for this. It cannot be too very rigid. We have to be able to grasp what we are trying to understand. So we invoke the grace of the Lord and the Guru. So now we go to the first shloka. So if you can show it. It's very small. Can we make it bigger a little bit? Or you can see, huh? Okay. Sadadvaitam shrutam yattat panchabhuta vivekatah Sadadvaitam shrutam yattat Panchabhuta vivekatah Bodhum shakyam tato bhuta Panchakam pravivichyate Bodhum shakyam tato bhuta Panchakam pravivichyate. Together. Sadadvaitam shrutam yattat Panchabhuta vivekatah Bodhum shakyam tato bhuta Panchakam pravivichyate. Sadadvaitam shrutam yattat Panchabhuta vivekatah Bodhum shakyam tato bhuta Panchakam pravivichyate. So, yat shrutam, it doesn't mean just that which was heard. Normally we say shrutam means heard. Here, it's little more than that. What is heard is the Shruti. Okay, the Vedas are heard, right? So that which was known through the Upanishads, through the Vedas, that which is known through those, heard through those, Shrutam, which was heard. So that which came to be known through the Shrutis, through the Upanishads. So what did we come to know through the Upanishads? Here it says that there is one Sat. One Sat means one existence. There is one existence which is Sad Advaitam, which is non-dual. So for us, everything sounds, yeah, I know this. I have heard the same thing so many times. But each one, the way the teacher explains, is so beautiful that by the end of all the shlokas, you will find how there are so many different ways of describing and making us understand. So this morning we saw Kathopanishad, that is so beautiful. That's one way. Now this is, something different. So now that there is one Sat, that is one existence, which is non-dual, without anything else, alone. Yeah. So that about which you come to know in the Shrutis of an existence, and that which is non-dual. So what is the reference here? It is referring to some Shruti. Yeah. We should know where is the origin for this. What is the original? So the reference is from Chandogya Upanishad. Okay, very, very most famous. Every one of you will know this when I say. So the shloka says, in that the mantra says, Sadeva Saumya idam agra asit ekameva advitiyam. So Sadeva Saumya idam agra asit ekameva advitiyam. This is the reference for this whole Sat existence. So in that, Uddhalaka Rishi, the teacher is Uddhalaka Rishi. Uddhalaka Rishi is teaching his son Shweta Ketu. The son's name is Shweta Ketu. So nice that in those days, the sons would learn from the fathers. So I'm not hinting anything, but we can just see what the whole culture was so nice. So here, the son Shweta Ketu comes to the father and asks, please tell me, please teach me. Yeah. So before creation, that the father says, there was only existence. Sadeva, Sat Eva, existence alone. Hey Saumya. So this shows, hey Saumya means, oh dear one. Yeah. So that is his addressing his son. Hey dear, hey little one, or something like that. So hey Saumya, a dear one. Idam, this entire world that you see, varieties of names, varieties of forms, varieties of things, so many beautiful, so many different things you see in front. It was just only Satta Matra, that was only existence. So when creation comes, so here he says Agra. Agra means Agre, means Prag Utpattihi, means it was before creation. Before creation, there was none of these things. There was only Sat. Okay. So, but once the world comes, all these Maya Jalam. So everything becomes so varied, so many different things, so many things for us to get confused or get, attracted by. So it was of the nature of Sat alone, that one thing which is called as existence. So before creation, it was existence. That means what? We have to analyze now. See, this is a blue cloth. I have to tell you, otherwise you may say something else. Because that blue is bluish, green, bluish. It's called as Ananda blue, auntie. What blue? So I don't know, whatever. It's blue. Yeah. A blue piece of cloth. And then now it has got, here I have just made it into a square shape. Yeah. So how do I describe this? A blue square cloth. I can describe like that. So it has got a particular shape and it has got a particular color. And it can have some particular use. What are you going to do with a small thing like that? It can be a kerchief. Yeah? It can be anything. Or it can be a rag. I just clean the place with this. It could be used for, like washing my face and wiping it. We don't know. There can be several things that it can be used for. So the name, the form, the utility, all these things are the different properties of this particular piece of cloth. So now we cannot say that before the creation. So this thing, when I open it out, it is a big piece. Yeah. So then I can make a blouse out of it. Or if there is a small child, I can make a shirt out of it. Yeah. You can make whatever you want. Then that same cloth, it could be a shirt or a whatever we want to make out of it, a kerchief or a rag or whatever. Huh? So I can say before all these different things were created, the shirt, the blouse, etc. were created, they were all just only cloth. The same cloth was just cloth alone, and then it became all these. The different shapes made it into different things. If all these were out of cotton, which this happens to be, if this is cotton, and I have made a shirt with that, or whatever I have made with this blouse with that, or a kerchief with that, then we can say that all the clothes that were made before they were made into all these shapes, only we can say cotton alone was. Is that right to say that? Yeah, it is right to say that it was not only cloth, but it was also, we can say, it was cotton, because the cloth came from cotton. So we are now going to the origin of that particular material. If I had a silk cloth, then I cannot say everything was silk. No, everything was cotton. I'll have to say everything was before silk. Yeah. So now, what does the Upanishad say here? It says, before creation, it's very, very interesting. Here I have only this, but supposing I had something made out of iron. Yeah. I had a pair of scissors, or I have a table, I have a desk, different things, or a hammer. All these are made with iron. Then I say, before creation of these things, it was iron only. This is iron only. This is paper only. This was cotton only. All these things are possible for me to say because those have come from that particular material. If we have understood this, now, what does the Upanishad say here is, you, me, I, and the snow outside, the trees outside, everything, the pillar here, before creation, they were all one and the same existence. Now you get the impact. So there I had to say this is the origin was the cotton or silk or iron or water, whatever we have, different things. I cannot say the origin of this was iron. No, I cannot say that. So each one was different origin. But here it says, no matter what you take animate, inanimate things, things with shape, think out of shape, whatever it is. But everything is that existence alone. Satta matra sadeva saumya idam agra asid. That's what the statement was made. So existence alone means what? Means before creation of this particular dress or whatever I have made, it was only cloth, means no shape, no color, no form, no dress, everything. So all the forms gone. All the forms gone. That means all the names are also gone. Or if the forms are gone, there is no name for that. Yeah. So we cannot say that before creation, all were only cloth or iron or water. We cannot say like that because it was not like that in that case. So, before creation, we can't say all of them were one of the many things. There is no one thing. There are all these different things. So, you cannot say all were shirts. No, all were only one thing. No, you cannot say that. So, and why do we say that before creation of this cloth, it was cotton? Because the cotton is the common denominator. Yeah? The common denominator, we have found out that for this kind of a thing, the cotton cloth, the denominator is that cotton. Yeah. The substratum, if we want to use that word, the substratum for this is called as the cotton. So, if we want to find out the cause from which all the variety of things came, then what should we do? You have to track one common denominator. What is the common denominator for all? So, for the cloth, common substance was cotton. And we can say before creation of all these things, different outfits, there was only cotton. Even without experience also, you can say that. You don't have to go to a tailor shop and see that he's taking a piece of cloth and cutting it, and then he's making it into this shape or that shape and all that. You know, the cotton was it's very easy for us to declare like that. Yeah. So, because you have found the common substratum there. Now, the same thing with all the metal chair, etc. You don't have to go to the smelting factory to see that the iron was melted and then it gave, because that you can always infer. So now when we see this world, we come to the world now. Now we saw cotton, iron, so many different things can be there. How to find out before all these came about, what was there? What were they? What was there in the beginning? So, what logic can we adopt for that? So, we cannot say, no, I was not there, only God was there, so I don't know. We cannot say like that. Yeah. So, you have to, the same logic that you used for those cotton substances, now you have to apply that. So, what is it that pervades all the things, one common denominator, one common substratum for all? That's how the whole logic of this is brought into light. So the Upanishad says, Sat eva, existence alone. So why does it say that? You have to think. Why does it say that existence alone was before? Now, is there anything here which is comprehended, which is understood as not? It is not. We have to think. We are saying isness alone was. Is there something that is not? Anything? Try. Is there anything that you can say it was not? So everything is comprehended as is. That's the only common one. Now we say the cloth is, the shirt is, the dress is, iron table is, chair is, everything is. Electricity is. When you switch off the electricity, the light, then I say it is not, but it is. Yeah, it is not. Not is there, is. Yeah. So, a person who thought he was very, very smart, it seems, and this is just an example given by the Swami. So he says, this guy came to the great king Akbar and said, In the Akbar Birbal story, this is, So we have heard so many of these things, So this guy came and said, Your Highness, Jahapana, please, can you give me anything that I want? I'll ask something. Can you give me anything? The king thought a little bit, what is he going to ask? So he said, I can give you anything except my kingdom. Because you may ask me for my kingdom and you will say, but you said you would give me. So I won't give you my kingdom. You can ask anything. Then that man challenged. He said, I can prove that you cannot give me what I'm going to ask. Okay, thanks, he said, because Birbal was sitting there. So he knew somehow he will be saved. Yeah. So now, he said, very confidently, this man said, give me nothing. Give me nothing. What? Give you nothing? How can you give nothing to somebody? So yeah, I said that, give me nothing. So now the man said, see, I told you, you can't give me. But the king didn't want to accept his defeat. So he looked at Birbal. Birbal just started laughing. He said, that is not a difficult thing at all, King, Your Highness. I will give him, don't worry. Yeah? So then everybody is looking. How is he going to give? Nothing means what will he hand over? So then Birbal, as usual, like a big hero, he is the hero of that moment. So he comes and he said, now, sir, please lift that carpet. There was a carpet in front of the king's, throne. He said, lift that carpet. So he lifted. When he lifted, then he said, you see the carpet, right? And you lifted it. Now, what is there underneath? So that man, without thinking, he said, nothing. When he said nothing, then he said, okay, take it. So you take that same nothing that you wanted, you take it. So this is how nothing can be, nothing also is. Yeah, so that's what the whole idea is. Everything we say is, nothing is, ignorance is. So everything is. So, meaning, nothing is an object of our knowledge. I know nothing. I know my ignorance. All these things become an object of our intelligence. Okay, so it is comprehended, understood as is only. All these things are known as is. So existence pervades nothing also. That isness is called as existence. That pervades even nothing. So you cannot say everything is made up of existence, but nothing is made up of, nothing is not made up of existence. We cannot say like that. Nothing is made up of also the same existence. So I hope you all get the point for this. Yeah. So that is the point. That everything in this world is. So what is it that is common factor that pervades everything throughout the cosmos? What is it that which is the substratum for everything? That is called as existence. So this is the topic for us. Yeah, so we have to understand. So, but always there is a but. What? There is a problem here. So what is the problem? You are now taking this cloth that is cotton, yeah, the chair that is made up of steel, yeah, the book that is made up of paper. But when you say the whole world, I don't understand. What do you mean? Isn't it existence plus something? Huh? It's not just existence, it is existence plus something. There are so many things in this world. How can you say it is only existence? I don't agree. Huh? So this is an objection. Yeah? So that also has to be, I know you have to address that. Yeah. So, like, we say color, form, shape, weight. So many different things are there. You cannot say it's only existence. Difference is there. No? We say like that. Then how do you account for all those differences then? This is the question. So, each one's function we cannot different. You cannot deny that. A shirt cannot be used as a, as a pant. Yeah. And then the shape, maybe, it can be cut into a rag and then it can be used as a, as a cleaning cloth. So we can say the shape may differ. Okay, I agree. Okay, chalo, rehne do. I give you sanction. Shape is okay. Shape may be different, but we can cut it into whatever shape we want. Okay, the shape is not okay. Shape keeps on changing. Like we all say, when I was young, you should have seen me. I was a slim chick. Now what happened? All these weight came. Yeah, the shape became different, shapeless. Yeah, so now the shape, okay, but how do you deny the color? How do you deny the color? Each one is different. Now, Vedanta says even color is not real. Shape, it's not real. Color is also not real. Are you color blind? You may ask me. Yeah. What is color is not real means what? Say, how can you say that? Now, everybody sees a blue cloth and we all see it as blue. There may be somebody from you who will say, no, it is green. They may, because they don't know, they're color blind. They see blue, green, where there is blue, it will be different. Not only that, there are certain animals like dogs, they say, we don't know, we have not been that yet. So if the dogs can see only black and white, it seems. Yeah, they cannot see the colors. That's what it's said like that. Yeah. And then it seems the snakes can see infrared and ultraviolet rays. So they can see those colors also, which you and I cannot see. So the color doesn't remain the same for every species, everybody. Huh? So that also becomes like an iffy thing. It's not the same. So another thing they say, this is all like botany, zoology and all. So they say the ants cannot see anything more than 2 dimensions. They cannot see 3-dimensional thing. They see everything as straight line. So the color and all will not be there. It will be one straight line. Yeah. So all this, what does it prove? When you go deeper and deeper and deeper into the so-called solid things, what do we say? The whole thing becomes, it disappears actually. So every, it says, no, all these things are not okay. They are all electrons, protons, neutrons, etc. Then they say, no. That also is not there. Every electron keeps on jumping the orbit and then it goes to the next one. And then it becomes, by that time you can catch it. No, you cannot catch it. It goes away. So nothing is there for us to actually, when you start analyzing, you cannot get to anything. So what is the color? How do you differentiate one from the other? None of them is actually real. That's why we say the theory of relativity of Einstein and all, because everything is relative. Nothing is permanent in this world. So everything, the solidity of this whole world that we experience completely ceases. So what remains is only existence. So when our great rishis said that, we can't even believe how they knew all this. What kind of instruments did they have? What kind of data did they have? So see, now we say that, theory of relativity. We say all these things. Now we know. But how did they know? Just think about it. No? How did they know that what we see now is not what it actually is? What it appears as is not what it is actually. So nothing else you can say. It is only is. That's all. That's all. So to say before creation, there was existence plus something was there, we cannot even say. Nothing. So that's why the Upanishad says, Sadeva Saumya Idam Agra Asit. So all this was only as existence. Because nothing else was solid enough to say existence plus something. So whether it is a rectangular shape, whether it is a function like a shirt or a blouse or whatever, whether it is some color or different anything else, a size, everything is superficial. Everything is impermanent. Before we see it, it changes. In our life, we see that. Yeah. So, and being very relative, so we know Einstein's theory of relativity. We can say everything is sat eva saumya idam agra asit. So now we have seen sad advaitam shrutam. Sat shrutam. So shrutam, because we know this through the shruti, through the through our Chandogya Upanishad. Now, in this Sat stands for existence. Eva means alone, that alone, existence alone. Hey Saumya, oh dear one, idam, this world, agra, before this creation, Asit was. So before creation, this world alone was. So how was that existence? The second line says, Ekam eva advitiyam. That is the second line of that mantra of the Chandogya Upanishad. Ekam means one, eva alone, advitiyam non-dual, one alone without another. So, meaning without any differences, existence alone was there. So differences mean you always must, in your mind, this is all very basic, but I'm just reminding you, sajatiya bheda, vijatiya bheda, swagata bheda. I hope you all remember those terminologies. Swajatiya, in the same, like when I take my body, head is not like hand, hand is not like leg, leg is not like nose, like that. No, each one is different. Vijatiya. So Vijatiya is, Swajatiya is not that. Swagata is that. So Swajatiya means when I take one person to the other person, when we are all human beings, each one is different totally. A man is not like a woman, etc., etc. Whereas when it is Vijatiya means we know, at least we hope, we are not like buffaloes or whatever. So each one is different. Yeah. So none of those differences come into place when we come to this ultimate cause for this universe. Now, that very existence, what was spoken in the Shruti, it says Panchabhuta Viveka Taha, the first slokam, through Panchabhuta Viveka, by distinguishing this reality from all the 5 elements, by distinguishing that from the 5 elements, bodhum shakyam. It is possible to comprehend that. By distinguishing it, it is possible to understand this. So that existence which is spoken of in the Chandogya Upanishad as what? As the non-dual Brahman, no, that is possible to be understood by us. How? And it says Panchabhuta Vivekataha. This is the first slokam of this Panchadasi. So through the methodology of discrimination using the 5 elements, Panchabhuta Vivekataha. So at the first verse itself, now he is telling us why we are going to do the Panchabhuta Viveka. Why are we going to do this? It's because we want to know what the reality is. But why? Why do we have to know that? Because it is you. Because it is me. It is I. Right? So we think always reality means some Brahman sitting somewhere on top of a mountain, wearing orange clothes, sitting something. We have all these different ideas, but reality is nothing but you and I. Yeah. I have to know myself. Without knowing myself, I have really, spent all my life. And I have to know at some point in my life, I better know what I am. Because they say it's very rare to get the human life. And in this human life, if we don't get it, we don't know what kind of life we will get. And in that, definitely, we won't be able to get, because we are not great Mahatmas that we will be born as a great, already I'm realized, so I can stand outside the ashrama and then listen to all this and then get nothing like that. We are all far, far, far away. So better start working on it. So reality is that non-dual existence. How do you know the non-dual existence? Only through the Shruti. And therefore, we have to do this Panchabhuta Viveka. That's why we are doing this. So, Tataha, therefore, Vidyananda Swami is very, very clear. Tataha Panchabhuta, Bhuta Panchakam Pravivichyate. Therefore, we are going to do this, this analysis of Panchabhuta Viveka. That's what he says. Yeah. So, this is the whole first, actually, this is the gist of the first slokam. So we said that Sad Advaitam Shrutam, that which is described as Sat and Advaita, Tat Bodhum Shakyam, that very same Sat is possible for us to comprehend. We will be able to understand this through Panchabhuta Vivekaha. And also, it's Sukham Bhavet. It becomes very easily comprehensible. Yeah, right. I can understand. You say that, oh Vidyaranya ji, for everybody, it says, no, you just have to have this discrimination, that analysis, the mind that can analyze properly. If you follow step by step, you will also get it. So that's what the whole thing is. Sukham bhavet. It's very easy, he says. Yeah, because he will take us through it. We saw in the first chapter also how he almost held on to our hands, and then slowly and slowly he made us go through it. Yeah. So like that, he's confident that even if we don't understand anything, he will make us understand. Okay. So now, so the discrimination or the distinction from the 5 elements. First of all, I have to know what are the 5 elements. Yeah. So what are the 5 elements? We say Akasha, the space, Vayu, the air, Agni, the fire, Apa, water, Prithvi, the earth. Right? So these are the 5 elements. So we are not going to distinguish Apa from, water from this or that. It is not that, but we will be doing a little bit of that also. But what we do is Panchabhuta Vivekataha. It is only distinguishing those from the reality. That's what we are going to do. So Tataha Bhuta Panchakam Pravivichyate. We are going to differentiate the 5 elements from the reality. So whenever we do any first shloka, our Vedantic tradition is that we have to do Anubandha Chatushtaya. I hope you all remember. What is Anubandha Chatushtaya? Anubandha Chatushtaya means we have to know 4 things in that. Chatushtaya. Always they are all 4. So, Anubandha Chatushtaya. First one is called as who is the Adhikari? Who is a fit student? Yeah. Second one is what is the Vishaya? Vishaya means subject. What is the subject of of this text. Third one. What is the sambandha between the adhikari and the text? What does one have to do with the other? The fourth one is the prayojanam. What is the result of this? What will I get out of it? Yeah. So these are the 4 different topics that are already in the first shloka itself. When these great Mahans, they write all this, they see to it that the first shloka itself gives us all these things. Mostly, at least, if not all the 4, at least 3 out of 4, something like that will always be there. So already we explained these terminologies when we did the first chapter. Okay, so I'm not going to go over the whole thing in detail, but usually adhikari is interested, the one who is interested in the topic. Ayyo, I didn't know this was the topic. I don't know, now I have come. It won't look nice if I go away. Anyway, I will just stay for this class and then for next class we'll see. So not that kind of a person, but a mumukshu. Mumukshu means muktum ichu, the person who wants to get liberated. Yeah, that kind of a person is called as an adhikari. We all know, otherwise we wouldn't be staying for the whole lecture. Sambandha is, does the text give this knowledge to get realized? Will it get it? That the mumukshu is interested in, right? The mumukshu is not interested in the recipe for how do you make, eggplant curry. No, that's not what he is interested in. He is interested in how to get realized. Does this text give that? Yeah. So connecting the text to the main interest of the student. So you want the knowledge for liberation. Of course, this book will give. Sambandha is called as Bodhya Bodhaka Bhava. So what is being taught, and does this teach me what I want? Yeah. So now 3 things are clearly presented here. Vishaya. What is the Vishaya here? The Vishaya, that is the Sat Advaitam. That Sat, that existence, which is Advaitam. That's what is being taught here. The existence which is non-dual, the subject matter. And adhikari has got to be a seeker of liberation. Otherwise, he would not be sitting here for this class. Yeah. So seeker of liberation. And what is the prayojana? Bodhum shakyam. At the end, that I don't know if you remember, it said bodhum shakyam. Prayojana is this reality, which will liberate you, is very easily, it can be understood by us. When we go through this text, it is assuring us that if you are a mumukshu, if you are a person who wants liberation, this will definitely help you. What more assurance can you get? Yeah, it says if you go through this text, definitely it will give you that tool. Yeah, what we have to do to get liberated. So, pravivichyate. So, this is what this first shloka itself has given us, what all we need to know from this particular text. Yeah. So, now the Sat existence is full of, it is very, very, full of meaning. So, we'll just analyze this. Sat means existence. What it means is that it does not have any properties whatsoever. Just existence. That means what? No properties means what? That doesn't have any shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha. No smell, no color or form, no sound, no taste, no feel. All these things are not there. Okay. So it is called as guna rahitam. It is without any gunas. Okay. No properties. And then if no gunas are there, can you see it? Can you touch it? Can you smell it? None of that. So it is called as Indriya agocharam means you cannot know through any of your indriyas, your sense organs. Yeah. And then because it is free from all properties, it pervades everything. Pervades everything means it is sarvagatam. See, all these words we hear, but we don't know what it means. So all these things are only for that non-dual Brahman. When we say that, then all these things we have to know. So we will be using all these words as we go along in the text. Sarvagatam. No, we always say for Brahman, Sarvagatam, all pervading. It's universal presence. When it is universal presence means one alone, ekam. So that all these things. So when we say Sat, that means it is Astita, which is without any gunas, guna rahitam. And then it cannot be seen by any of the indriyas or touched by it or smelt by it. Indriya agocharam. And then it is all pervading, means it is sarvagatam. And it is one without a second means ekam. And then it is advaitam. Yeah, when we say ekam also, it's not enough. Advaitam. There is nothing except it. That alone is. So, all these, when all these other religious people, they come and say, you have so many gods, So how do we explain to them that we have only one Brahman, right? But actually, even beyond that, what do we say? No, we don't have one God, but we say we have only God. Yeah? God only, nothing else. Everything that we see is that only. Ekam eva advitiyam Brahma. When we say that alone is. So it's impossible to explain to all the other people who have no background like us. So it is all mind-boggling when you come to Advaita. It is very, very interesting. So before creation, when you say Sat alone was, it says, the Upanishad says, so when we normally, also we have to know, we'll just take 5 more minutes. Is that okay? Yeah. So then you are saying yes. They have to say no.
No problem.
So, when we say creation means always there is a creator, there is a created, and the instrument of creation, right? So there has to be like a pot. Immediately, I don't know why in those days all the pot only it used to come. So the clay that is the material cause. The clay has to be made into a pot. For that, there should be somebody with some life and some conscious person, a potter, has to make the clay into a pot. But he cannot make it just with hand. He needs the instrument, the wheel or whatever, potter's wheel. Yeah. And then he has other instruments also, which he, with a little stick or something, he just goes around to make that pot. So multiple factors are there for all these other creations. When we see in this world, but we cannot understand. But for this creation, we say the existence alone is sufficient. How did this come about? Without somebody to create it and somebody to take it, and what made? That's why it is mind-boggling. When we say that alone, so that same thing becomes the creator, becomes the created, becomes the instrument of creation. Because the instrument also is not needed here. Same creator creates it with that same thing. So when we say this, that's why in the first chapter also we said, you can even write it down, Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karana. That's a very beautiful terminology. So, Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karana. So, it is, there is no difference. That same thing became all this. The one and the only thing became all this. That's why we say, how to explain that all becomes a big thing. So, our Vedanta is just so profound in this. So, for for nimitta, for that consciousness, the sentiency is required. Without the life, it cannot be created. A potter has to be alive, to make the pot. The whole world to come out, that itself becomes consciousness. So that we'll see how existence itself becomes consciousness. Yeah. So all these things, how Sat is Chit and how Chit was Anand, we have already seen Ananda, we have seen this. So we have the whole of this Vedantic concept are all put into this one shlokam, and we can just keep on going into it, and then we can see how much of treasure is there in this simple looking first shloka itself. Yeah. So I think that's enough for today. So what all have we talked about? You can just try to analyze in your own mind what all we did today, and some of the points, all those things you can write it down. Otherwise it will become too mind-boggling. Like how I said for the first chapter, what are the main points? I hope you all are remembering that. Like that, you have to, from the first shloka, what all have we done today? Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyam Amritat Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityor Ma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Shri Guru Bhyo, thank you so much, Mami. It's wonderful. Somebody, Shiva Prasad, has raised his hand.
Yeah, he can
We are
send
running
the
out
question.
Yeah, if you can send a question, we'll be happy to answer. There is an email address, we will put it out, Panchadasi at svbfnorth.org. We'll be happy to answer that, to cover that, if that is okay. So I hope it's you can wait for that long. Thank you so much. Anything, Jambunathanji, do you want to cover anything?
No, it was awesome beginning for the Panchabhuta Viveka. Thank you for starting this very auspiciously for us. To define existence, I think the whole chapter was to define existence, which is the problem with science. Science cannot define existence, and Vedanta define. Mami explained so much with the blue color, and also how the dogs and the ants and the humans perceive the same thing differently. So everything is a relative existence. I think existence itself was today's core topic, and thank you for doing that, Mami.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, it's so good. I think, and the other interesting part I got was the Guna Rahitam of Sat. And we are going to realize and understand it based on the Panchabhuta Vivekam, which is interesting. So use your current gunas, the 5 gunas, to some level, and understand something which is beyond the 5. Yeah. And that's the beauty of him, to say how beautifully he has done. Thank you so much for showing that up. It's a pleasure on that to do. And then we'll take it. Tim G, do you want to take it up and finish it and take us home? You are on mute. So
thank you, Tim G, for coordinating today in Srinivasan's absence. Thank you.
Absolutely, no problem. Thank you, Mami. Such a wonderful lecture. So let's start the Mangalam.
Yeah.
Mangalam Guru Shri Chandramaulishwar ke Shakti Ganapati Sharadambige Shankaracharya ke Shakti Ganapati Mahaganapati Sharadambige ke Kala Bhairavar ke Kali Durgai ke Veera Dheera Shura Hanuma Maruti Charanatirke Mallikarjunarke Selva Janardanarke Amba Bhavani Kamba बद गणपति चंडी चामुंडी के, श्री कृष्ण भगवान के, श्री चक्रवासिनी के, सीता राम लक्ष्मण सहित मारुति चरणति के, विद्यारण्यर के, विद्याशंकर के, वागीश्वर के, वज्रदेग गरुड़ आंजनेयर के, श्रीवल्ली देव सेना समेत सुब्रमण्यर के, तुंगभद्रै के, श्रृंगनिवासिनी के, श्रृंगेरी पुरिயில் நிலைத்திருக்கும் எங்கள் சாரதாம்பிகைக்கே, सच्चिदानंद शिव अभिनव नृसिंह भारती के, श्री चंद्रशेखर भारती गुरु सार्वभौमर के, श्री चंद्रशेखर भारती गुरु विद्यातीर्थर के, श्री चंद्रशेखर भारती गुरु भारती तीर्थर के, श्री चंद्रशेखर भारती गुरु विदुशेखर भारती के, मंगलम गुरु श्री चंद्रमौलीश्वर के, शक्ति गणपति शारदाम्बिक शंकराचार्यर के, शक्ति गणपति महागणपति शारदाம்பிகை के, श्रृंगेरी पुरिயில் நிறைந்திருக்கும் எங்கள் சாரதாம்பிகைக்கே.
Jai Sharadamba. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you all next month, same time, right? Okay.
Thank you so much, Hari.
Hari Om.
Mami. Thank you.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Thank you, Mommy. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mommy. Hari Om.
Mami, you can write the question to me or to that website, wherever.
Yes. So you can, yeah, you can send the email out to Panchadasi at